Hey YouTube, Kiratwig here, bringing you all my Dynatank or Tyranno Hassleberry Yugioh deck profile for post-Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. This focuses on the monster that Tyranno Hassleberry used in his duel against Sartorius, being the Dynatank, a machine dinosaur fusion that uses the machine tank monster that Hassleberry used, fused with his dinosaur monsters, giving you more of a control playstyle based on being able to control what cards your opponent may want to destroy of yours, being able to destroy your other dinosaur monsters on the field using this fusion monster you make. It's really awesome that the tank provides the fusion power needed for the deck to mix in some of the machine type support with some of the more generic dinosaur support we run. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off for the main deck. For the new monster, we are running 3 copies of Dynabase. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and other monsters from your hand or field as material. You can only use this effect of Dynabase once per turn. So you have the fusion option with this card in the deck, giving you more of a setup for your go-to dinosaur monster, which is the Dynatank. It needs 1 machine monster and 1 dinosaur monster. So you can use your Dynabase and any of the other dinosaur monsters. You definitely do want more of a boss monster to fusion summon out with it, because then the attack will go on to Dynatank. So the stronger the dinosaur monster, the stronger that your fusion monster will be as well. And you have that easy special summon option if your life points are lower than your opponent's, meaning you can save your normal summon for some of the more important dinosaur monsters that we run in the deck. For the boss monsters, I am running 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. It's one of the better dinosaurs to use just overall for the more generic dinosaur setup. And also, just because this is more of a deck focused on what Tyranno Hassleberry ran, I'm also running just 1 original Ultimate Tyranno. It does have 500 attack points less than the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, but it can just attack any monster. If this card is in face of attack position monster at the beginning of battle phase, it must attack first and attack all monsters your opponent control once each. So you have this play for this card, but also just another fusion option. Plus, it is the card that Hassleberry fused with the mobile base to make the Dynatank to begin with. So I'd say it's very fitting for that playstyle. If you didn't want to run Ultimate Tyranno, you can always just put in a 3rd copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I also run the 3 baby Ceratosaurus for the easy destruction power when it's destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard. Special summon 1 level 4 lower dinosaur from your deck. It's not a once per turn, so as long as you have the baby Ceratosaurus to destroy, you have that special summon for your other monsters. Sadly, the Dynabase is a machine type monster, so we can't search this card out. We just have to rely on opening this card up, but still a good destruction play to set up some of these stronger dinosaur monsters on the field. I also run the 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor for the graveyard setup. When it's normal or special summon, you can take 1 dinosaur monster from your deck and either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can target 1 other level 4 or lower dinosaur monster on the field, destroy it, and special summon 1 dinosaur monster from your graveyard in defense position. You can only use this effect of Oviraptor once per turn. So you can destroy the baby Ceratosaurus on the field to get another one in the graveyard, activating the destroyed baby Ceratosaurus, and then having that other one on the field for you to use. Once again, baby Ceratosaurus is one of the cards you can use to redirect the target of your opponent's card when you have your Dynabase. We'll go over that with the other cards in the extra deck when we get to that spot. But also running the 2 Enamidorned Archosaurus. If this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster in your hand or face up on the field, except Enamidorned Archosaurus, then add 1 reptile, sea serpent, or wing beast monster with the same original level as that destroyed monster, or 1 evolution pill spell from your deck to your hand. So the search for this card is obviously the double evolution pill, since it can be used with our machine type monster, since it says banish 1 dinosaur and 1 non-machine monster to get the special summon off of it. And for some of the other lower numbers, I also run the 2 Giant Rex. Giant Rex comes in handy for the banish, once again, being able to special summon back when it's banished, and also being able to make good use of it with some of our Link 4 options in the extra deck, like our Topologic Zeroboros and its own banish and setup thanks to Giant Rex. I also run the 1 Miscellaneousaurus and the 1 Megalosmasher X, the normal summoned Megalosmasher X, for options with cards like Survivals. And you do have the tokens that you can use with your Lost World as well for that normal summon setup. I wanted to go for more of a generic dinosaur setup overall for the deck, and just having another 2,000 attack point level 4 target to go into with this card definitely does help, as just another easier fusion target for your monster and your fusion monster to at least have 2,000 attack if you have to to use it for it, just like your Giant Rex as another option. And lastly, for the main deck monsters, I also run one Stegocyber. Now, I like this card in the deck. Life point lowering means you have an easy special summon for the Dynabase. Your life points have to be lower than your opponent's for you to be able to special summon this card out. And your ultimate Conductor Tyranno inflicts damage to your opponent, doesn't, like, minus your own. So if you can use cards like Stegocyber to pay 1,000 to special summon this card back onto the field and prevent some battle damage from that one attack, not only have you stopped an attack thanks to this card, which you can set up in the graveyard, but you have also provided a way to have your life points be lower than your opponent for you then to special summon out your machine type monster from your hand and then having the other dinosaur monster on the field for you to fusion summon with. That is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. Running the 3 Lost Worlds, just another easy token special summon and prevention of targets for your other cards on the field. The normal summon helps with the Survival's End. Once again, being that the token is a normal monster on the field, which you can destroy with it, and give you a special summon of a dinosaur monster onto the field. And also the 3 Fossil Digs. You can just search out any of the level 6 or lower dinosaur monsters from your deck to your hand for you to use. With the Dynabase, you also have the option to fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and other monsters from your hand or field. So I'll go over some of the other fusion options you have with the search you can provide with Fossil Dig. For the Evolution Pill, I'm running 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. You banish one dinosaur and one non-dinosaur monster from your hand and or graveyard to special summon one level 7 or higher dinosaur monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you can go for your big boss monster, Ultimate Tyranno, or the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I'm not running the hand traps in this build, but for the non-dinosaur option, if you don't go for any extra deck monsters, you can always banish the Dynabase after you used it for the fusion summon, since it is a machine monster. And for more of the generic lineup, I'm also running 2 Foolish Burial Goods. This is also just another way to send Survival's End to the graveyard to give you a special summon by banishing this card from your graveyard to target a dinosaur type monster you control and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. And for the one-ofs, the 1-for-1 for the Archanamidorn Archosaurus search, Terraforming for the Lost World search, Foolish Burial for the graveyard setup of any of our dinosaur monsters. A lot of times with this setup, I can even just set up Baby Ceratosaurus in the graveyard, or you do have the send for your Stegocyber as well. And then lastly, just the 1 Call by the Grave, the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and the 1 Monster Reborn for the rest of the generic spell lineup, which definitely do help with either back row clearing of your opponents or just shutting down any of their graveyard plays or special summoning your resources back onto the field. And then for the traps, spoke about it enough, but I'm running 2 Survival's End. You destroy as many normal monsters on the field. And if you do special summon 1 level 4 lower dinosaur monster from your deck up to the number of destroyed, but destroy them during the end phase. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 dinosaur monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy them. So the normal monster can be one you've set up earlier, or the tokens made from the Lost World on the field. And with it, you also have the option to special summon a Baby Ceratosaurus onto the field. And even if it would be destroyed at the end, you at least still have the special summon off of this card when it's destroyed by a card effect. And then lastly, for the traps, this could be an infinite impermanence spot, but I'm running instead 3 Solemn Judgments, more for a protection card on the field, but also just another way to lower your life points to at least give you an option to special summon the Dynabase onto the field from your hand and have another means to save your normal summon for other dinosaur monsters. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Dynatanks. If you wanted to run a 3rd copy of this card, you could just remove one of the generic Xyz or Link monsters that we are running in the deck. But with your Dynatank, it gains attack equal to the original attack of the dinosaur monster used for its fusion summon. You can only use each of the following effects of Dynatank once per turn. When a card or effect is activated that targets this 1 card on the field and no other cards. Quick effect, you can target 1 other card on the field that would be an appropriate target. This card or effect now targets that new target, and if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 dinosaur monster from your graveyard. So this is meant to also give you the special summon of the dinosaur monster that you used for the fusion play of your Dynatank, but also being able to retarget appropriate cards on the field. Once again, if you have cards like Baby Ceratosaurus on the field that can be destroyed by your opponent instead, you can redirect the effect from your Dynatank onto that card and gain an additional special summon of a dinosaur monster onto the field from your deck. If you go for cards like Megalo Smasher, you can use Survival's End for the destruction, and then other additional destruction of your opponent's cards using that play. For more of the generic dinosaur lineup, I also run the 2 Evil Zarlagia, just an easy Xyz monster to go into to stop spell and trap, and normal summon or special summon monsters. The Evil Zardolkas, running 2 copies of this card for stopping the monster effects your opponent may have by detaching 1 material, and also for the generic Xyz, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Castel. If you were to put in a 3rd copy of Dynatank, you could always take out the Castel for that 3rd spot. And then for the Link monsters, I run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Reprodocus, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Zerberos, and 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. If you wanted to remove one of the Link monsters for the spot for the 3rd Dynatank, you can take out the Nightmare Cerberus. We have plenty of other cards in the deck that can destroy monsters on the field already. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, being able to set up the Dynabase play, whether you lower your life or if your opponent attacks into you, giving you that special summon on the field, and then your fusion option if you go for the Fossil Dig and search out cards like your Stegocyber. It will be a lower attack point option, but this search and then fusion summon at least gives you a defensive play in the graveyard for you to special summon back onto the field, and with it then having your fusion play using the 2 monsters to get out your Dynatank. Once again, just being able to special summon it can protect your monster on the field, and it can even be more of a defensive lineup using these 2 cards on the field. But if you have your bigger monster already in your hand, you may not be able to special summon the Ultimate Tyranno back onto the field after your Dynatank's destroyed, but being able to have a monster with 3,800 attack as the fusion option in your hand means you can use the Dynabase on the field to once again fusion with that other bigger dinosaur in your hand. That's another reason why I like to run the Ultimate Tyranno, because then you'll have a monster in your hand that you use for the fusion play into the Dynatank that can at least be special summoned back onto the field, unlike some of our bigger boss monsters in the deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I really am happy with the results of the Tyranno Hassleberry Dynatank deck. It's more of a fun take on the anime deck that Hassleberry used against Sartorius and the fusion plays he was able to do. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.